Hi, I'm Scott Flowers with Cloud Ninjas. Today we're here to continue our series on the Dell PowerEdge R7525. In this video, we're going to specifically focus on drives. Let's get going. Hey, thanks for stopping by today to learn a little bit more about the Dell PowerEdge R7525. Do us a favor, if you find anything that helps in this video, click that like, smash that subscribe. All right, we'll top in. Now, this video is going to be specifically dedicated to drives. It's going to be the third video in our series. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go over the different types of chassis. And you might say, well, I thought this was a drive video. Why are we going over chassis? Well, the chassis are going to tell you what are the compatible interfaces, and it's going to be different from chassis to chassis. So we'll cover what are the compatible interfaces. Then we're going to compare those compatible interfaces and put up a nice little chart that shows you the speeds and sizes, and max sizes really, for those compatible interfaces. Then at the very end, we are going to show you how to actually install this, which is going to be pretty easy because these are hot swap. And then we're going to show you two testing tools that we like, which is going to be HD Sentinel and Dell Diagnostics. HD Sentinel we like because it tests power on hours and health score, and a lot of times we'll throw drives into a storage array that we have set up in advance to kind of test the drives before we put them into a live production environment, but everyone has kind of their own processes. That's our own, but we're going to show you just some of the testing tools we like. So let's hop into the fun stuff. All right, so now we're going to go over what are the different types of chassis. So the first type of chassis is going to be an 8-bay large form factor or 3.5-inch SAS and SATA hard drive. So for that one, you're not going to be able to use any NVMe. It's just going to strictly be for your big boy, large form factor SAS and SATA drives, great for storage. You're going to have an 8-bay 2.5-inch NVMe. This is a great solution if you're looking for maybe a GPU-enabled server that only needs 8 NVMe's. Now that's a special type of chassis there, and you're going to need the GPU enablement kit and high-performance fans and heat sinks and a lot of other stuff that goes into it, but that is one interesting solution right there as well. There's a 12-bay large form factor that's going to be SAS and SATA, and that's an even better storage option because now you're fully using the entire system and getting those extra 4 slots for a large form factor storage box. That would be great for Ceph or a number of other different solutions. Then you're going to have a 16-bay 2.5-inch or small form factor SAS or SATA. That's going to be your traditional SAS or SATA hard drives or solid state drives, and then you're going to have a 24-bay tri-mode, which means it's going to take NVMe, SATA, or SAS, and this is a great solution for anyone looking for NVMe storage because you're going to get 24 bays and you're still going to get a wonderful Milan CPU, as we discussed in the very first episode of this series. And so the nice part about that is pairing 24 NVMe with Milan. That's one hell of a solution. All right, so what that ultimately means is there's going to be 5 compatible interfaces. 5 compatible interfaces. So let's go ahead and break that down. First, let's go with the solid state drive ones. You're going to have a 2.5-inch SATA solid state drive, 2.5-inch SAS, or 2.5-inch NVMe. So these are going to be the 3 solid-state drives, and when we go over our breakdown, we'll do that first. And then you're going to have your 2 hard drives, and that's going to be a SATA hard drive or a SAS hard drive. And technically, you can even break down that further to a 2.5-inch and to a 3.5-inch, but you're going to have a SATA hard drive and a SAS hard drive, all right? So let's go over the speeds and the sizes. So let's go over the solid-state drives first. So first, you're going to have your SATA solid-state drive, SAS, NVMe. So for a SATA solid-state drive, you're going to get 6 gigabit per second. SAS is going to be 12. NVMe is going to be 16 because it's Gen 4, but really it's a lot faster than what that would equate to SAS or SATA. So I kind of hate that number, but NVMe is going to be a Gen 4 NVMe. Gen 3 would be supported as well, technically, and you're going to get a max size of, according to Dell, 3.84, 3.84, and 15.36. Now, one of the reasons we do these types of videos as a whole is Dell's spec sheet, generally speaking, is outdated. All right, so when they made this spec sheet for this 15th gen server, they made this when it was originally released, right? Why would their engineers go back and retest it 5 years later? They don't care anymore, right? I don't mean that in any kind of a bad way, but they don't really care anymore. They're focused on the new stuff that they're releasing. So that's what guys like us like to do, is try to help out and say, hey, here's what actually works and here's what is supported. So when we tested it out, and sometimes we don't have everything to test out, but we put in 7.68, 15.36, and a 30 TB for NVMe. So obviously the scalability is actually a lot higher than what it says. And if you put in something even higher, let's say you put in a 30 TB SAS, I wouldn't be surprised if that worked as well. Maybe you put in a 61 TB NVMe. Drop a comment down below, let everyone know. But yeah, that's kind of what the point of these videos is, just kind of let everyone know what actually does work, and can I throw this in or can I throw that in. And again, if you're not sure, just email our sales team. We'd love to help out. All right, so let's go over hard drives. So again, you're gonna have a SATA and a SAS hard drive, and you're gonna have a 2.5 inch and a 3.5 inch. And maybe I've said that a few times and you're not really 100% sure. So this is what a 2.5 inch small form factor hard drive looks like. And this is what a 3.5 inch hard drive looks like, or a large form factor, right? So you can see it's literally just talking about the size of it. It's physically bigger, right? And with the bigger ones, you can put in more storage. Yeah, go figure. Kind of makes sense though, right? And so that being said, with a small form factor hard drive, those are probably going to be the least used drives in this machine. The max that you can get, we'll go over the speeds first. So the speeds for SATA is going to be 7.2K. And that's revolutions per minute. So keep in mind, it's a mechanical device. It's spinning around and around and around and around. It will wear out and it will fail, especially for SAS, because SAS are 7.2K, 10K, or 15K. So if you're doing 15,000 times a minute, going around and around and around and around, try doing that for 3 to 5 years, and you're going to eventually kill those ball bearings and the drive will wear out. So I'm a big fan of, if you have been using a, let's just say a hard drive for 5 years, hey, now might be the time to go ahead and upgrade to a solid state drive, get better performance and better security, or reliability, I should say. And so just something to think about. Now for the sizes for a SATA, you're going to get 2 terabytes. That's it, 2 terabytes. 2.4 for SAS. Yeah, solid state drives. Anyhow, it's not sexy. And a 2.4 SAS is actually really expensive for hard drives. Like, you would think that, hey, maybe I can get a deal on those, but they're really not, because they're the highest end SAS hard drive, and they're just really expensive. So I'm a big fan of switching over to solid state drives, which is my personal opinion. Take it for what you want. Now, if you go to a large form factor, you're going to get a lot more scalability. So according to the Dell spec sheet, you're going to get 10 terabytes for SATA and 8 terabytes for SAS. That's what Dell's spec sheet says. Now again, we played around, and I'm sure what we're about to say, you can actually probably even go higher. We put it in 20 terabytes for SATA and 22 for SAS. And if you put in something higher, please, again, just drop a comment down below. Say, hey, I put in a 24 terabyte, I put in a 28 terabyte, whatever you put in, drop a comment down below, let the other users know, because that is what this is for, help the Dell community out. All right, so one important topic to cover, M.2s. So you can put in 2 M.2s using a BOS card. And you might go, well, which BOS card can I use? Well, you can technically use an S1 BOS card or an S2 BOS card. You can't use both, but you can use one or the other. Now, Dell definitely wants you using the S2 BOS card. There's some extra features for it as a whole. You can put in 2 240 gig or 480 gig, and they're going to be 2280 drives, so you can't put in a 22110. And we'll throw up a little chart right now that's going to kind of compare whether you use the S1 versus the S2 BOS card, but this will be great for your boot card or your boot for your OS. All right, now that we've covered enough information, let's go ahead and show you how to physically install these. Again, super easy because they're hot swap, and then we'll show you the 2 testing tools that we like. Before we do the install, I'm going to grab my ESD gear and be right back.
Hey, this is Mason with Cloud Ninjas, and today I'll be showing you guys how to install your drives into your Dell PowerEdge R7525 server. Now, as you can see, we have our SSD here, and we will be using it to replace a hard drive in the first bay. Now, if you're looking at this adapter for your solid state drive to fit into your 3.5 inch tray, you can email us at sales@cloudninjas.com, or when you visit our website and select the drive you want, you can select the 3.5 inch Dell 14th, 15th, 16th gen tray with 2.5 inch to 3.5 inch adapter option for that drive. So now going back into our server, we will go ahead and press this button, and it will pop the lever out, and then we'll just simply pull this hard drive out of the bay. As you can see, it's a hard drive, so we'll go ahead and set this to the side and grab our SSD, and then we'll go ahead and slot this into the bay by first popping out that lever and then sliding it in. And once it goes all the way, you can set that lever back down to secure the drive in place. Now, if the drive ever gets stuck or doesn't go in all the way, all you need to do is press the spring in the corner of the lever, and that will help get the drive slotted all the way into the bay. And you've done it. You have succeeded successfully install your drives into your Dell PowerEdge R7525 server. So now we'll go ahead and show you guys two testing tools that we really like, Dell Diagnostics and HD Sentinel. Be right back.
Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to test your hard drives and solid state drives with Dell Diagnostics and HD Sentinel. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to go ahead and get started with Dell Diagnostics. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and boot up your server. Once you boot up your server, you want to go ahead and press F10, and this will go ahead and bring us into the lifecycle controller. Once we're in lifecycle controller, we can go ahead and scroll down to where it says hardware diagnostics. And then we want to go ahead and click on run hardware diagnostics. And then you'll get this little warning right here. So it's just going to say it's going to take several minutes, so we can go ahead and accept that. And this will load us into Dell Diagnostics. So actually getting into Dell Diagnostics and actually running the test is pretty simple. So we're just going to let these tests run, and these tests can take several minutes up to several hours. So go ahead and just wait this out. If you're familiar with 12th gen and 13th gen Dell PowerEdge servers, you'll notice that this looks very, very different. In the 12th gen and 13th gen, you can actually see the different tests on the left-hand side of the screen, and you have a lot more information on the middle of the screen. And it's just a lot more simpler of a screen, but it's just going to go ahead and run through all of these tests. And at the bottom, you can pause these tests if you want, and then you can also see like what test specifically is running at that current time, an estimate of how much time is left for that test. So like I said, these tests are going to take a little bit of time, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. So once that final test has stopped running, it'll go ahead and stop. And then we will get a message that pops up on the screen that says success. So this means all of our tests have passed. If you had any issues, then you would get an alternative message saying like, hey, these tests failed. And at the very end here, we can actually view all of the information and all the different tests that were ran. And this screen's a little bit more similar as to something we'd see on 12th gen and 13th gen PowerEdge servers. But yeah, we can go through here, see all the test results for each individual test, which is pretty neat. Information about the system health, the configuration, and we can even go into the event log, which is pretty useful. So that is how we do Dell Diagnostics and how we can test our hard drives, but also, everything else in our system. And if you really want to see if your system is healthy, then go ahead and run Dell Diagnostics. It'll give you a lot of information if all the components are working the way that they should. So now I'm going to show you how to test your hard drives with HD Sentinel. Alrighty guys, so I have HD Sentinel pulled up right now, and as you can see, we currently have two drives plugged in. We have this installed into a storage array where we like to plug in multiple drives at a time so we can test those drives. HD Sentinel is an awesome tool because you can see things like the power on hours, which is great, especially when you're buying used equipment. You can see how long that drive has been in use. You don't want to be using drives that have been, heavily used, because then you have a higher risk of drive failure. And that's one of the reasons why HD Sentinel is such a cool tool. But as you can see, we can just go ahead, plug a drive into the array, and it'll automatically populate within the software. Like I said, lots of information. It'll give you health scores of the drives. As you can see, the two we have up top, they have 100% health score, while the one at the bottom has a 99%. So all pretty good. So I hope you guys found this video useful, and if you did, go ahead, smash the subscribe and leave a like. If you're interested in purchasing a custom built server, or you're looking to buy some drives, we do have plenty of those in stock, so you can go reach out to us at sales@cloudninjas.com, sales@cloudninjas.com. Anyways guys, thank you for stopping by.